Hello and welcome here to TalkFCB and welcome here to La Liga Roundup, which is a new series starting here on TalkFCB, and we're going to be taking a look at all of the La Liga games from this weekend and discussing what happened in the second week of the La Liga fixtures. So welcome to the La Liga Roundup, and we start with the early Friday night kickoffs. Valencia against Malaga was the second game of that night. It was quite an extraordinary match, really. Valencia came out in the end 3-0 winners, and it was a game where Malaga were desperately unlucky, really. I think the red card to Sergi Darda did change things. I thought they were very good up to a point. Malaga played some very good stuff. They played some good football. They've actually come on very well because, of course, they were in so much financial trouble in the first place. And it was difficult for them to come back from that. But what they have done is they've got some young players now coming through. They've got some talent. And, 3-0 really doesn't reflect the game because I think Malaga had, a really good go at it. Valencia did pretty well in terms of the way they played. They played very much on the front foot. Their fans, of course, very, very attacking. And it was good for them to see that because Valencia needs some optimism. They need something going forward. The fans to get excited about, and that's exactly what they can do now. They can get excited about Valencia because they can see something. They can see something is happening there. They've got new players. They've got a new manager there. Nuno hasn't got much La Liga experience in the top level management, but he does look as though he does know what he's doing. Valencia started, of course, with that away point against Sevilla. Quite lucky to get it in the end. They had 10 men. And then they did a lot better then in this game. 3-0, a very, very comfortable win it seems. Some good goals. Paco Alcacer again, doing very, very well. And it was certainly a good result for Valencia. Other game that night was Getafe against Almeria. Sort of a very, very interesting clash because it's two teams that you would think would be battling at the end of the season in the relegation zone. They're going to be trying to stay up. Getafe don't attract many spectators. They don't have a very, very good attendances. Almeria, the same really. They're trying to get away with the loan signings. They're trying to bring in players who aren't very expensive. They both work on very, very tight budgets. That goal was won by Alvaro Vasquez, who got his first goal of the season, the man who was on loan at Swansea last year, and he's come back to form and he scored the only goal of that match to give Getafe what was a quite vital win. Almeria just 1 point from their opening two games which they would have probably expected to at least have won one of them. Game on Saturday then, Athletic Bilbao against Levante. And a very, very good win for Athletic. They had a great week, didn't they? Progressing in the Champions League, beating Napoli and progressing to the group stages. They got a decent group as well in the Champions League. And they came into this game with a feeling that, they'd played in Europe. Are they going to have a bit of a hangover? Are they going to, be a bit tired? No, they certainly weren't. They were very, very good in front of their home supporters. Levante have lost Joaquin Caparrós this season, which will be a very, very big loss for them. He was a great manager. In terms of organising them and making sure they are a bit more solid at the back is what you usually get from Levante. They weren't against Bilbao though. Adariz played particularly well. Ike Munyain had another great game. Ibai Gomez as well got 2 assists. And they played extraordinarily well. I think they have a really, really good season coming up for them because they've got some good young players. Of course, they can't go out and sign players like other clubs can, but certainly, it was a good result. Adariz, of course, got the first goal. He's still scoring goals, by the way. He may be getting on now, the big striker, but he can still chip in with the goals. Iturraspe, another big performer because, he's been called up to Spain now. He's a big player for them. Ike Munyain scored again, another impressive performance. He's consistently performing now at the top level. So it was a really good win for Athletic and certainly good things going forward for them. Another game then, Cordoba, newly promoted Cordoba against Celta Vigo. Celta Vigo got their season off to a brilliant start. Faltered a little bit in this game. This is one they would have expected to win when Orellana put them 1-0 ahead. But, it's an interesting situation at Celta Vigo. Of course, Luis Enrique left them. And they've got some good players, Nolito, Orellana, new striker Larrivee. coming from Rayo Vallecano, and they do have a good side. They do have some very, very good players. They've lost their goalkeeper, Joel, to Valencia on loan. Not really understanding that deal. But they did pretty decently. Cordoba snatched a point in this game, really. It was a pretty even clash, and a good point picked up for the newly promoted side. Next game then on Saturday was the clash between Atletico Madrid, the champions, against Eibar, and it was certainly not a brilliant performance from Atletico. 2-0, they went up 2-0 pretty quickly. Goal first of all from Miranda, which set them on their way from a set piece, quite a simple corner kick from the near post and headed in by the centre back. And then again a set piece conceded. Eibar will be really disappointed the way they conceded these goals. 2 goals conceded from set pieces is not certainly what you need as a newly promoted side. You need to be organised, you need to be very, very good at defending set pieces. They weren't here. Mario Mandzukic got his first La Liga goal. But from then on with Atletico, it was really stuttering, really. It was, Simeone's in the stands, of course. They miss his presence on the sidelines. And they really did struggle. Eibar got back into the game with an absolutely brilliant goal from Abraham. If you haven't seen it already, it's a cracking strike from the edge of the box, the left back. And Eibar played really well. They could well have got an equaliser. There was a few different chances for them throughout the game. There was some late ones. There was some crosses into the box. Atletico Madrid certainly haven't started this season on fire, but then they didn't really do that last season either. They were very consistent. They were very, very good at home, and so far they've started the season in the same sort of manner. And the final game on Saturday was Espanyol against Sevilla. 2-1 that ended to Sevilla, who will be disappointed in their first game to only pick up a point against Valencia. They dominated the game for large periods, and Carlos Bacca got his season off the mark with a goal against Espanyol. Second goal then went in from Iturra, from a Denis Suarez cross, and it looked like game over, but straight away Espanyol back on the counter-attack, and it was headed in by Stuani, and Espanyol fans will be very, very aggrieved as they feel they could have had a penalty at some point in that game in the first half, as there was a man brought down in the box. Referee didn't give it. It was a good game between those two. Espanyol trying to play a bit more exciting football this term, trying to be a bit more expansive, and Sevilla just trying to replicate what they did last season and try and go one better in terms of trying to secure that Champions League place. But Unai Emery's side showed good depth. They got some good players in their squad now. Banega, Deulofeu on the bench. They're showing their strength and depth, and Sevilla off the mark with a win, and that's 4 points now from their opening 2 games as they're unbeaten in this La Liga season. So Sunday's matches were quite eventful. Barcelona went to El Madrigal and played a very tough game against Villarreal, which doesn't surprise us. Villarreal, a very, very good side. They progressed from the Europa League in the week. And they were very, very strong at home. Their fans got behind them. They tried to break Barcelona down, stop them from playing, and they certainly did. And they hit Barcelona a few times on the counter-attack. They hit the post 3 times during that game. Mathieu went to clear the ball and hit his own post. Thomas Pina hit the post with a brilliant strike from outside the box, and late on Giovanni Dos Santos struck the post from a tight angle, but Barcelona got through the game without Iniesta and Neymar for most of the game. Iniesta injured. Neymar came on later on and had a little bit of an impact. It was his slide pass through to Messi, who nutmegged the goalkeeper, and it was tapped home by La Liga debutant Sandro Ramirez, another young player coming through the Barcelona youth system, and Luis Enrique placing his trust in young Sandro to tap home and give Barcelona the win. But it certainly wasn't a vintage performance from Barcelona, but very important they got over the line. Real Madrid travelled to the Anoeta to take on Real Sociedad, which was a 6-goal thriller. An absolutely brilliant game this was. End-to-end stuff, attacking play. The fans were fantastic. Sociedad really did show some great spirit, and it looked like it was all going Madrid's way. A header from Sergio Ramos put them ahead inside the first 10 minutes. Gareth Bale added that with a nice second, nutmegging the defender and sliding home in the near post. And it looked like it was all going to be Real Madrid's day. It looked like they were going to put 3, 4, 5 goals on Real Sociedad. But a goal from a corner kick, nicely worked. Xavi Prieto nodded the corner on from the near post into the path of Inigo Martinez, who tapped home. And it was a very, very well worked goal. Sociedad then struck level through David Ziratuza, who got his first goal of the night, and he was yet to add to that in the second half when Sociedad took a shot lead. Another brilliant goal from Zaragoza from midfield, getting forward and getting into the box, and it was 3-2 Sociedad. And then you thought, are Real Madrid really going to change things? Are they going to try and go and do a different system? Ancelotti brought on Arbeloa, he brought on Sami Khedira. It was a bit late for that though, because Sociedad scored again through Carlos Vela, the substitute, and Sociedad had a 4-2 win over Real Madrid, who they hadn't beaten in 10 years, and it was a brilliant result for the side from the Basque Country, and La Real are off the mark in La Liga after losing their first game to newly promoted Eibar. And the final two games on Sunday evening were Deportivo La Coruña against Rayo Vallecano. Again, another promoted side. Deportivo, we're used to seeing them in the top division. They're back this season with a number of players they've added to their squad, and one of those was on the score sheet. Jose Rodriguez put them ahead after 7 minutes. But they were pegged back through 2 goals from Alberto Bueno from Rayo Vallecano. He's a good player for them. He scored a few goals for them last season as well. He's becoming quite a regular goal scorer in the absence of Larrivee. But Rayo Vallecano couldn't quite get over the line despite drawing, last week with Atletico Madrid. They couldn't quite get over the line for the win here as Isaac Cuenca, the former Barcelona player, turned a penalty home in the 95th minute. It was literally the last kick of the game. Deportivo awarded the penalty and Cuenca stepped up and slotted it home for his first La Liga goal in a number of years after a number of injuries. So it was a good result for Deportivo, their first points on the board, and unlucky for Rayo, who have 2 draws from 2 games. Elche took on Granada in the late kick-off on Sunday evening, in the last game of the round of games from La Liga. Elche, it was quite a stalemate game. Granada and Elche both cancelling each other out. They were, struggling to make a breakthrough. There was a lack of shots and a lack of entertainment from this game. But Fran Rico put Granada ahead with 10 minutes to go. But they were pegged back again with a late goal from David Lomban, who scored in the 91st minute, again very late in the game, and denying Granada 2 wins from 2. They did very well in their first game, Granada, to get the win. And it looked like they were going to match Barcelona on becoming the only side to win 2 of their opening games. But Elche denied them all the points and got their first point of the season after they lost to Barcelona on the openings day. So there were some very, very lively games. Some unlikely goal scorers, some very late goals, and some dramatic calls from the referee. Not as many red cards this weekend, I must say, although Malaga have got 3 from their opening 2 games. But it was a very, very lively La Liga weekend, with Real Madrid losing, Atletico Madrid stumbling over the line, and Barcelona just getting the win they needed. And as we finish the round 2 of La Liga, Barcelona are the only side to have won both of their opening games. They top the league with 6 points. Valencia are in second place with 4 points because of their good goal difference. Celta Vigo in third, who are also unbeaten, with Granada, Sevilla and Atletico Madrid. Athletic Bilbao bounced back from their opening day defeat to claim 3 points. They're in seventh. Real Sociedad, Villarreal and Real Madrid make the top half. And now from the bottom of the league are Levante with no goals from them. They have a -5 goal difference after conceding 5 goals from their opening 2 matches, having lost both of them. Elche in 19th, having only picked up 1 point and getting smashed 3-0 by Barcelona on the opening day. And Cordoba, newly promoted Cordoba, are 18th with just the 1 point. Almeria, Espanyol and Deportivo have only got off to better starts because of goal difference, and they lie just above the relegation zone. So it's been a very, very good start of the season for Luis Enrique's Barcelona. They top the league by 2 clear points. Valencia have had a good start under Nuno and under new management, with Peter Lim taking it over the club, and they lay in second. Celta Vigo are still adjusting to the loss of Luis Enrique and Rafinha Alcantara, but they make up the top 3, and Sevilla and Atletico Madrid will be hoping they can push on in the rest of the season, with Villarreal lying in 9th. And Real Madrid are going to be feeling that they were very, very poor to lose those points against Sociedad. They were 2-0 up, they were cruising. Seemed to me as though they took things a little too easy, they took their foot off the gas. Barcelona, of course, scraping through in their match. So it was a real chance of Real Madrid to match what they did, to match them up top, to go ahead of Atletico Madrid. But going into the Real Madrid-Atletico Madrid match in 2 weeks' time, Atletico Madrid are a point ahead of Real and are higher in the league. And it's been a very entertaining start in La Liga season. A number of teams dropping points, a number of shock results. And it's quite incredible to see how things are going. The top goal scorers so far this season, Lionel Messi and Alberto Bueno, David Zaragoza and Fabian Orellana all have 2 goals. And in terms of assists, Toni Kroos, the new Real Madrid signing, has 2 assists, along with Ibai Gomez, Javier Aquino, Xavi Prieto, Nolito, Victor Sanchez complete the assist chart. Malaga have the worst discipline in the league after receiving 3 red cards already. Barcelona have received 1. Valencia 2, and also Espanyol. The biggest attendance has been Real Madrid's match against their opening game against Cordoba. That was the attendance so far. That was 70,000. The aggregated attendance so far is 538,252, which is incredible, really. There's some low attendances in La Liga, of course, with Little Eibar joining us in the top flight, but there's been some record attendances so far in La Liga. I know the Anoeta and El Madrigal were both rocking yesterday as Barcelona and Real Madrid entered, but it was an opening weekend here, and we followed it up with week 2, and Barcelona topped the league with Real Madrid in 10th. And that's all for the La Liga Roundup here. Join us again for next week. After the international break, we'll come back with La Liga Roundup when we look at week 3 of the La Liga season. I'll see you very soon.